Gentlemen, thank you very much for your service, and thank you for working hard during a trying few years that you've had to deal with because of decisions made in this building and on this Capitol Hill. On page 2 of your statement, you say the Army has reached an inflection point. We can no longer afford to choose between improving our existing systems and developing new ones. We must do both. I was asking in another setting the Secretary of Defense about his statement that we've been climbing out of the readiness hole, and we're going to have to do both now, readiness and modernization. Your statement was prepared before we got the news today about the agreement between the White House and Republican and Democratic leaders in the Senate about the new defense caps. If we don't pass the new defense caps tomorrow, what does that do to your ability to make this sentence come true?
I think it would be devastating, Senator. As you mentioned, that prepared statement's been done for probably about a week and a half now. And that specific sentence was crafted with the 19 President's budget request in mind. So if we don't get a budget, if we go to a sequester, we go to some kind of furlough again, we would not be able to do both.
And actually, what I think we're going to do, if we've got the votes, is we're going to appropriate to the National Defense Authorization Act level. And I think the House of Representatives has demonstrated that they already have the votes to do that. What have we not been able to do? Help the people who are listening by way of C-SPAN right now. Help us to understand what's at stake in terms of actually what we have not been able to do and what we're going to be able to do if we take a grown-up vote tomorrow and actually give you what you need.
Just a couple examples, Senator. So the only new developmental program that we have started in the 2 years that you mentioned is the Mobile Protected Firepower, or light tank. We have no other new developmental combat vehicles in production, and that's not even in production. We're expecting some bid samples here in the next month or so to go into a down select for a producer. We have been focused solely on keeping the equipment we have as modern as we possibly could, while others have modernized their fleets. We have no new aircraft in production. We're still flying the same aircraft that we were flying in the 1980s that came out. And probably the worst part of that is with the resources and we've been operating with the focus on readiness was exactly where the focus should be. We would be using the same fleets for the next 20 or 30 years. This budget request, I firmly believe, and if the numbers are anywhere near the NDA level, we will be able to start development of new systems that we will need on the future battlefield. So we have been maintaining parity as best we could by incremental upgrades of systems, but there is nothing leap ahead about what we're doing. That's what we want to do, is go after the system that will provide us the overmatch into the future against a peer adversary.
Okay, let me shift gears in the last minute. As you know, Army Corps of Engineers, ERDIC, is located in Vicksburg, Mississippi. High use of supercomputing there. To what extent is supercomputing important Army-wide in getting you the information you need, and how weapon systems respond to complex environments? Who'd like to take that?
Sir, I can take that. It's absolutely critical. Frankly, with respect to the Chinook helicopter, our Block 2 Chinook, we have avoided about $50 million worth of costs in terms of flight based on being able to supercompute the effects that the new blade rotors are going to have on the aircraft, the new fuselage is going to have on the aircraft. We can avoid all that through the simulation and training that the supercomputers provide us. With respect to the tank, the Abrams tank, in terms of its armor, The ability to, as we upgraded the armor in the last version, the V3 version of the Abrams, the ability to use the supercomputers to determine what the armor would be capable of doing in terms of the threat, whether it be kinetic or whether it be RPG or whether it be an ATGM. What would be the result of the armor that we add as a result of being able to stop those particular threats, all made possible by the supercomputing capabilities that you mentioned. It's critical to us. It's critical to the joint force. The Army is just one participant in this. We have the other services as well, and so it is a great capability, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.